with late game execution.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was really trying to go back and forth. Should I actually do this video or not? But hey, what the hell? I'll do it anyway. So this is so big discussion, confusion, whatever you want to call it, about whether if LeBron James was at the funeral of Kobe Bryant. You know what? It's been 5 years already. And I think this came up 3 years after it happened, with Stephen A. Smith questioning if LeBron was there. And initially, probably a year after, it may have been like when it happened, I thought LeBron was there. And then I found out LeBron wasn't there like a year later. So I was like, typical LeBron. And then Stephen A. Smith came out, like I said, it was 2023, so almost 2 years ago, said he wasn't there. I'm like, that confirms it right there. And then this whole beef between him and LeBron, Stephen A. Smith, it came up again. Stephen A. Smith said it again, but he was corrected. But this whole confusion, whether he was there or not, goes all the way back to days after it happened. So I read this article from People magazine, right? It was a People magazine, and it's titled, LeBron James praises Kobe Bryant's widow as he evades the question whether he was at the memorial. The NBA star has not shown on screen during the celebration of life held in honor of Kobe and Gianna Bryant on Monday. This was published on February 26, 2020, before you-know-what started happening. Actually, I think that was already happening. While LeBron James was not shown on camera during the celebration of life held in honor of Kobe Bryant and his daughter on Monday, the basketball player still says he's still reeling over the loss. On Tuesday, James, age 35, opened up about his emotional state following the public memorial at the Staples Center. Since he was not on screen among his teammates and other sports luminaries at the televised tribute, the athlete was asked about his exact whereabouts on Tuesday during their morning practice for a Los Angeles game against the New Orleans Pelicans. I respect your question for sure, but it's very emotional, James answered according to ESPN. A very emotional day, a very tough day for myself, for my family, for everyone involved. For my family. It was unclear whether James was in the crowd or watching from an undisclosed location during the memorial. Some viewers were left wondering if he was at the memorial when he did not appear on camera once during the 2.5-hour celebration of life. So, like I said, that was dated February 26, 2020. So, skip 5 years later now. Like I said, it keeps coming back. Because it's, who was it? Pablo Torres came out with something. I think it might have been yesterday. Jewish Pro was the first person who made that video about it. And it says ex-ESPN commentator Pablo Torres made a bombshell LeBron James claimed were Kobe Bryant's memorial attendance. He said he has produced a bombshell report regarding LeBron James' attendance at Kobe Bryant's 2020 funeral, citing multiple sources who suggested he was not there. It's been a long-running debate whether James attended the memorial service following the tragic helicopter crash that took Kobe and his daughter and 7 others on board. It mentioned Stephen A. Smith saying he was not there and then he had to retract his claims, so I'm not going to go through that. Nonetheless, Smith's initial accusation led Torres, former ESPN, now Meadowlark Media, to investigate the claim on his podcast, and his report cast a serious doubt on the idea James was in attendance. Torres cited 2 high-level sources involved in the planning of the event who were in attendance and said they did not see James there. There's no effing way he was there. One said he was there. If he was there, he was Casper the Ghost. One claim surrounding the event, which James was not photographed, is that there was some sort of director to lead him off the television broadcast. However, a lead producer of the event, Renato Basile, I think that's how you pronounce it, told Pablo Torres finds out off-camera thing is BS. Another moment the fans pointed out was evidence of James being there is when Diana Taurasi made a joke about the player before appearing to gesture towards him in the crowd. However, Torres looked at the camera angles from where James would have been sitting based on her gesture, and he was not seen in the crowd at various points of the service. Furthermore, Torres confirmed with several sources that Taurasi never actually saw James that day. Several sources also told Torres that James was not invited to speak at Bryant's memorial. James' representatives did not return a request for a comment, and noted that it was only not discussing anything related to Stephen A. Smith. All told, Torres' fact-checking, which involved 8 sources, was slammed by certain fans online, of course, though he insisted afterwards that he was not making any sort of judgment. This isn't a moral question whether James should have been anywhere, he wrote on X. It's a fact-checking and a simple question that has been incorrectly reported and argued behind the scenes and out in public for half a decade. Reports at the time suggested that James was in attendance. And then LA Times wrote on February 24th, 2020, among the Laker-related faces in the audience, Magic, Kareem, Shaq, Phil Jackson, Jerry West, Rick Fox, Stephen Curry, and LeBron James was there, as retired Boston star, Celtics star at the time, Bill Russell. Other NBA players on hand include James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving. I definitely saw Kyrie Irving. Kyle Kuzma, DeMar DeRozan. I also thought Dwayne Wade was there, but I guess he's not on there. At the time, James agent Rich Paul cryptically said that his client had spent the day of the memorial in his own space, of course, and he was widely criticized for his claim that James was not in attendance at the memorial. Smith apologized on X. My apologies and clarification. I misspoke in hour 1 of First Take today when I admitted that LeBron did not attend Kobe Bryant's memorial. I corrected myself in hour 2, which I acknowledged he was indeed in attendance, he wrote. My mistake should not have even broached that subject. It's not my main point. I retracted nothing else what I said today. Have a nice day. So that pretty much ends that right there. All right. So it's 5 years later, right? Everybody's still squawking about it. I'm like, that was loud. I'm like, okay, whatever. So what? He wasn't there. This does not change the fact that the man is who he is. I think it's furthermore clarification last year that most of his teammates, LeBron's teammates, last year showed up to the Kobe Bryant statue unrevealed. I think it was Anthony Davis, might have been Darvin Ham, former coach, Austin Reeves. I think most of the team was there. He was not there. His excuse, I get prepared for the game. Yeah, sure. We all know that he did not attend his own buddy, supposed buddy, Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame ceremony 2 years ago. He was not there. I always joke that's one of the reasons why he was not there, because I think Greg Popovich, it might have been Greg Popovich, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, they might have been inducted. Somebody from the Spurs was there. And I think even Tim Duncan was there. So I always made the joke when I made that video that he didn't want to go there because they might have bad memories of losing to the Spurs twice in his career. That was a joke that I made. But this does not change the fact of who he is. We already know the type of person who he is, what type of time he's on. LeBron fans always wonder why we do not like him, because this is one of the reasons why. Because there's always some type of shenanigan with this guy. No, he's not obligated to go into any of these, events. But there's always someone covering for him. There's always someone hiding for him. There's always some deep narcissistic trait with this guy when it comes to certain things. Now, in all honesty, I don't think Kobe or LeBron ever had that perfect relationship or a relationship at all off the court. I think it's one of the things that they saw each other at some event, and it was like, yeah, for the cameras, that was it. But you never really saw Kobe anywhere near LeBron. That was anything outside of basketball. Also, there was this whole thing back in the Olympics that LeBron was pretty, I guess, not happy with Kobe not sharing the ball, according to him, and wanted Coach K to do something about it. It's always the fact that LeBron always I wouldn't say in his feelings, but that Kobe called him out, locked his ass up, and embarrassed him in an All-Star game. I think it was the 2013 All-Star game. We all know this guy has a deep, deep resentment to anyone that shows him up. Another terrible trait that none of us like. We all know there's a bit of jealousy between him and Kobe. I think most people, despite what the Kobe here to say, I don't think that LeBron likes that he's been beloved and almost to somewhat of a sainthood, especially in LA. And the fact that he even decided to go to the Lakers and try to do his best to erase that memory, and still hasn't worked. Because I think pretty much, despite what some idiots be saying, the city of LA, not even the city of LA, shoot, maybe the whole state of California still sees, maybe I'll just keep it down to Southern California. Kobe's still that guy out there. Even in passing, he still is. He really is. I can't say the whole state, because I think half the state is Stephen Curry. But even people in the Bay respect Kobe. I don't think that many people really respect LeBron out there like that, unless they some LaFraud fan. Then yeah, they will be. But the city of LA is still true to Kobe, despite what anyone else thinks. There's still a lot of stuff out there honoring Kobe. You barely see stuff honoring LeBron out there. And I'm saying this as a former resident of the state of SoCal. There's still that aura of Kobe being out there. Laker fans, real Laker fans, don't respect LeBron at all. And why were you at them Diddy parties? Why were you in a bath towel with a shaving bag with fuzzy brown slippers on? Better go handle that. Those are questions he still needs to answer. Forget about whether he was at the memorial or not. Answer that question. Oh, and I always ask this question. I asked this question a couple weeks ago. You pull up on Stephen A. Smith. Why not pull up on Chael Sonnen? Chael Sonnen has said worse about you. How about you pull up on that other MMA fighter who's been going on you? I forgot, is it Covington or something like that? How about you try him? Oh, he won't go that. He won't challenge a white man. Oh no, he surely challenged a 57-year-old black man, half his size. But he won't challenge anybody who he can rough his ass up, make him have that that freaking big eye look on his face when they throw his ass across the room. Answer those questions. Why were you at them Diddy parties, boy? Come out and say something about it. Say you weren't there. That never happened. Say you never took, the Captain America superhuman drug. Just say that. And half of these allegations and thoughts about you will probably be squashed. But how long has it been since Chael Sonnen came out and said that? It's been almost 2 years now. Nothing has been said yet. No rebuttals. No nothing. No nothing. But everybody else who's been in some allegations of trouble, like a Kyrie Irving, even John Morant, others Let's go outside the sport of basketball. Baseball. Yeah. I was alive when Barry Bonds was going through it with all those allegations. They talked about him 24/7. That's when I used to watch ESPN heavy. But this guy? Nope. Because the media is paid and bought for. That's why he's able to have people saying he was at that memorial and cover for him. Truth is going to come out sooner or later, Lakotas. And y'all ain't going to like it. And some of y'all going to be in denial. And to that YouTuber ass, why you guys hate LeBron? You guys don't even know why you hate LeBron. Don't be stupid, my guy. Don't be disingenuous and stupid. You all know why a lot of people dislike this guy. You know why. You know what Lakotas act like? They act like a dude that now knows his girl's cheating on him, but he doesn't really want to come to face the facts yet. He's still scared to face the facts, knowing what he will find out will break his heart. That's how the Lakotas act. That's how they act about their king. They know their king is a piece of POS, but they don't want to come to earth about that fact. They don't want to face that fact because it's something scary in their heart. But anyways, tell me what you guys think. One more thing. I heard 2 Raw say something about this. And I don't know if he's thinking what I'm thinking or talking about what I'm thinking when it comes to LeBron and thinking the worst thing about LeBron. And I said this many times before on this channel that I do not think he was involved in anything regarding the demise of Kobe Bryant. I know he said LBJ, then this is LBJ. And I know Lyndon B. Johnson's always been associated with, the end of JFK. But that conspiracy theory right there. But I'm having a hard time trying to fathom that in my brain. If he was behind that. But then again, the way this guy moves, he moves like a mafia boss, a mafia don. So you never know. That's why originally I used to call him Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor in the comics has sometimes, it depends who's writing them, he always has this aura that, I'm a standard good businessman, CEO, billionaire. I ain't got nothing connected to me. But we all know Lex Luthor is dirty as it comes. We all know Lex Luthor is part of the Injustice Gang, Justice League, Secret Society of Supervillains, always trying to get rid of Superman, trying to find ways to destroy Superman, trying to find ways to destroy the Justice League underneath it all. Tries to cover up his tracks, tries to show the world that he's not evil. That's why I equated LeBron to acting like Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor does act like that. Maybe it's a combination of Lex Luthor and Homelander. But then again, Homelander, they do some dirty acts the same way. Tries to act like he's a good person, well-standard superhero, but deep down we know he's a POS. And Homelander has taken some people out who oppose to him. So, just saying, that's what LeBron acts like, Lakotas. Sorry.